All right, well, let's turn it over to the audience for a little question and answer.
Yeah. We got microphones.
We have a microphone set up right
Don't all
in this
go at
aisle
once,
here.
for God's sakes.
If I guess we have two microphones. Look at that. Okay, bring up the house lights a little bit. That helps. Thank you, guys.
Which side should we go with first?
The left side.
I don't care.
Left side. Left side.
You don't care about anything anymore,
No,
apparently.
I don't care. I've let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let go, let God. Your question?
I know why.
Actually,
It's kind of free.
Actually, I'm not going to have a question. It's really Jeff. Why don't you drop some knowledge on us about the VGCW?
Oh, it's video game wrestling. Like, what do you want me? I'm not like you trying to record me talking about it to use for something later. Like that's no.
Actually, yes. No, I mean you seem to be really into it, and as an old school wrestling fan myself, who hasn't watched wrestling in probably
it's
decades,
super fun. You know, it's really cool. They're taking all these video game characters and writing wrestling storylines for them, and just being able to see the WWE 13 AI just be this colossal piece of shit. In a really beautiful way is really fun too, and it actually is the only thing I'm looking forward to as it relates to the next WWE game.
Yeah.
Is what enhancements will they make that could make this like even more of a like beautiful shit show. And you know, like I guess, but my dark hope after that is that Ukes stops making those games and that someone else steps in to make wrestling games because, geez. Alex, you want to back me up on that? Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know. I like 13, but yeah, it's time.
But yeah, it's living on the West Coast. That show always broadcasts while I'm still at work, so I'm probably gonna have to watch archives and stuff. So it's tough, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
Video Game Championship Wrestling. Check it out if you can.
Check it out. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
All right. Thank you for your not a question.
Tonight's not.
Real quick before I go,
Tonight's not actually.
I just want to let the audience know in this feud between Harmonix and Giant Bomb, something they might not all know, but last night at the Harmonix welcomes Giant Bomb to the Brattle Theater. They bought all the Brattle Theater attendees beer and snacks, and also provided a pretty kick-ass photo booth. Just saying.
I heard it was expensive.
There was.
Yeah. So you're saying you're taking Harmonix aside in all
Hell
of this?
yeah.
He is wearing
You
their
son
free
of a
jacket.
bitch.
I love you guys too.
The photo booth was nice.
It was a fun photo booth. I had several.
It looked expensive.
I think
It spit out
I have
two sets
incriminating
of photos.
photos in my pocket here from the photo booth.
Yes, sir. You have a question.
So Supergiant Games is here with Transistor,
Yeah.
and it looks pretty sweet, but also based on the critical and commercial success of Bastion, I expect the group is going to be around for a while. So one, have you talked to or are there plans to bring them in for a look at the development process again? And two, could that be a long-term relationship? Because I think it would be fascinating to see a group of people make a game in a house and develop and become a bigger group and how that process goes. And you clearly don't have a problem being associated with other developers given your connection with Harmonix that people make. But would that become too much?
That's a really different thing, to be honest with you.
Dance Central 3 is in stores now. Go on.
But would that become too much at some point, getting that close with some developer? But I think it would be fascinating.
They're too big for us now. They priced out.
Yeah.
we can't.
Yeah,
we
no,
can't get that access.
Greg wouldn't even look at me today. It was fucking horrible.
Yeah. So a few exciting things. They have an office now. I was there. It's really nice. I actually think their office is pretty sweet. So a funny thing. The building the Bastion stuff, I bought a video camera and then wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. I was like, I got this video camera just in case I have to shoot stuff. And then I shot the DJ Hero demo at E3 with it.
I remember that.
And that's about it. So when we started talking about the Bastion stuff, like I was like, I have this camera, I'll give you this camera. And they still have it. And apparently they've been shooting stuff on it all through the process of coming up with Transistor and all that sort of stuff. And it's my camera, so
Gotcha.
Exclusive.
no, we have not talked about that at all. I think it would be cool to do something like that, and we'll probably talk to those guys at some point and see if they're interested. They might just be too busy working on the game, though. Who knows? Yeah,
We served their purpose.
that's right.
They used us
shoot
up.
us up, spit us out, moved
feel
on,
so
bought their big
used.
PAX booth, sold their scumbag plushies. Yeah, so nothing currently planned. We actually literally have not talked about it, but they do have some footage that I know that I would be interested in looking at. So maybe we'll figure something out.
Gross.
Thanks.
Thank you for your question.
Yeah, they got some videotape.
Hi, guy with the buttons.
What's up, button guy?
Oh, wow.
Well, I had a question about the integrity of Iron Galaxy's Dave Lang.
Wow.
Okay,
There
here's
is
my
none.
answer. 0.
None.
That's right.
Well-
That man would sell his own mother's breast milk for $200.
Certified.
That would make me feel better, quite frankly.
Trust the
Go
source.
on.
Have you ever actually seen him do a dive kick?
I thought you were going to ask if you ever actually seen him do anything.
I was gonna say no. No.
Can we see him do one now? There's a stage over there.
We've got bean bags over here. Does your insurance cover it?
I don't know about this. I don't know about this. Bring that marching band back.
This is
for
how
a
Dave
sale.
Lang ends up bitching at us for years about how we fucked up his back.
I threw on my back, guys. Big man on campus.
You shouldn't do this. This is a terrible idea.
You drink breast milk. You don't get to fucking tell people about bad ideas.
No, I extra get to tell people.
This
No!
is why I'm much smarter than Ryan Davis. I got up here, I assessed the situation, and I'm gonna walk away.
There we go. Yeah.
Sounds like
that.
someone doesn't want to sell any copies of Dive Kick.
So the answer to your question is no. He doesn't do shit.
That actually, but maybe that means he has some integrity.
Yeah. Bigger
At the
man.
end of the day, maybe he is
The
the
lazy man's
the bigger
integrity,
man on
yes.
campus.
He'll have to live with his choices.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa!
Was
he's
that
like
like a
walking
thousand-
in his
dark,
direction. I'm like,
man.
wait,
Holy shit.
He's sitting like right behind you.
You could have to
Fucked up.
But for how long will he have to live with those choices?
All those pins. Yes.
So occasionally on live shows like Unprofessional Fridays, you guys ask the chat for tips on how to get through difficult parts of games. Like recently, Vinny's had some trouble with...
What?
Vinny, you've had some trouble with Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
Turn his mic off. Sure.
Unless Zobek's in the
No,
audience.
I would really like to hear what this man has to say. Please go on.
So to cut down on some of these repeat advice that the chat gives you, I made a shirt for Vinny here. Tips on beating any video game.
Uh-huh.
Number 1, call Zobek.
Okay.
Number 2, pick up the purse.
Okay.
And number 3, cast Bufu.
Oh, great.
So I'd like to give you
Thank
this.
you very much. Yeah, I'll just wear that.
Yeah,
Wait, what size is that?
it's a men's large.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
It's black as well.
I don't want Max to grow up with the same fate, so I made him a shirt too.
That guy
is
just
actually
saved that
adorable.
joke.
All right. I'm blushing. Thank you. Thank you. What's your name?
I'm Chase.
Thanks, Chase. Yeah, appreciate it.
Give it up for Chase, ladies and gentlemen. That man spent money on that.
The irony is that Vinny's going to try and wear the small one.
Look at the little babby shirt.
Just goes to show, not everyone has a horrible black heart. Just me.
What's your question, dude?
So maybe for the last 6 months, I thought me and video games were gonna break up. Like I wasn't gonna play video games anymore.
This question is starting pretty good.
Dude, no, you have me. I'm right.
This is like every morning. This is in the office.
I like to read books, so I thought I'd just read books.
You lost me.
know? But I'll bring it back around.
Like, are they pornographic or?
So, but then I
He
played,
just did this. He just did the little wobble.
Dude, this is a lot of setup.
But then I played that new Vlambeer game. It's really awesome, and I felt something again. So it's
Ridiculous fishing.
Like, is this a trick, or like should I come back to video games?
I don't fucking care.
Yeah, you came to PAX. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like that's the cool thing about where video games are at right now is that excitement can kind of come from anywhere.
Yeah, totally.
You know, there are parts of the business that are just kind of outdated and have kind of gone away. You know, talking about like kind of the middle tier publishers that just don't really exist necessarily on consoles anymore, don't exist like they used to. But you know, we're just seeing the rise of these small team games and all this other stuff. And I think that there's just going to be tons of excitement at every level at some point. You know, you're going to have these great small games. The big games are going to benefit from new consoles coming out, and that's going to be really exciting. Like it's a really cool time to be into games. It's just kind of surrounded by some occasionally really depressing stuff. Like, you know, there's still plenty of layoffs. There's, you know, the microtransaction stuff is getting a little weird, or they haven't figured out how to make that not shitty a lot of the time. And as that stuff gets banged out, I think we'll be in a pretty good place at the end of it. It'll just be a bit of a rough ride getting there. So, I don't know, read a book or two, and by the time you're done with those, I'm just assuming that you're a slow reader. Video games will be back.
The one thing I would say is that if you find something you like make sure you can tell the people that you like it. One thing that happens on the internet a lot is that it's really easy to lash out at something you don't like. Most people like something and then just say, I like that, and then just move on. That's my impression of the internet.
It's pretty good.
There's a panel at PAX Prime. But if you like something, like if you like Ridiculous Fishing, like they have a booth in the Indie Meg booth. It's Rami. It's like two of them. Go tell them you liked that game. Like, you know, that means more to those guys than anything else, and then maybe that will inspire them to go on and make something else. I mean, like, one thing that you can do is just tell people you like the stuff they make, and then they'll go on making more of that stuff for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
After the
let's
last 2
fucking
hours-
get it going.
After
Rock
the
and
last 2
roll.
hours of that, I'm not really sure if this question is appropriate anymore. But this is a question for Vinny, and if he's available, Drew.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Drew,
This is not
available?
appropriate. Did you post this on Craigslist?
Yeah.
Is this like a
You're the guy who
misconnection?
did
Under
the picture,
misconnections.
right? That was
Misc romance.
We do work together a lot.
So I feel like the video production and post-production process involved with Giant Bomb is kind of something that's a little unrecognized. But could you give some advice maybe on like I'm a student for video production and post-production. Mm-hmm. And I was just like wondering what kind of advice you would give for someone like me in my position.
I don't know, Drew. Drew, come on up here. Yeah.
I'm a cameraman.
No, you're not.
This is just not Ryan's night.
You're giving me the how to break into the industry question?
Yeah.
All right.
T-shirt.
yeah.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, I started at Whiskey Media shipping T-shirts. But I think what led to the job was that I was sort of prepared in any sort of aspect that that an opportunity could come. So it was a lot of luck getting the job, but you sort of have to make your own luck by exploring things that interest you and being ready for the opportunity when it arises. So when they said, hey, we noticed on your resume that you know how to edit video. Do you want to take a shot at editing some stuff for Anime Advice?
I'm sorry, what?
My homepage.
Don't worry about it. I was ready to do that because I had prepared. I'd also prepared by learning how to code websites and any media aspect that interested me. So when the opportunity arose, I was ready. So I guess make your own luck, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right.
Drew Scanlon, ladies and gentlemen.
Drew Scanlon.
I love it when Drew talks because he's the most thoughtful man.
Drew. Oh, yeah. Sorry. That's ice cold, you guys.
Good answer.
Yeah.
What?
My advice is to, when anybody asks you or to do something important, hand it off to the people who know how to do it. So, yeah.
Delegation.
Yep, delegate.
And then when you delegate to people that don't do it, don't delegate to them anymore.
That's right.
Delegate them out the door.
Now, I was hoping you could answer this question with your favorite submissions that, we sent in, but apparently I was first confused. I wasn't sure if you guys had seen, the Cards Against Humanity submissions, but now apparently our submissions are mostly shit, so if you don't have any favorites, you don't have to, you can just pick your favorite card, but...
We've not looked at, we have not started sifting through them.
We're assuming. The first week we started looking at them, and we're like, oh, there's a lot of repeats in here.
Yeah.
Then please just answer this with your favorite card that has nothing to do with midgets or buckets. Because, so I don't know exactly how I got the PAX Plague, but I suspect it had something to do with...
Shitty questions? I don't know.
I don't know. There's the Cards Against Humanity panel is tomorrow night.
Yeah. You're at the wrong panel.
And literally, it is all that. It is all card pitches. So bring your card pitches to that, and then a whole row of people can tell you what they think about your cards.
Rip you to shreds. It'll be glorious.
Yeah.
We appreciate you trying, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's up, buddy?
Hey there. I just want to, this is sort of ancillary to my chocolate giving, which I got you chocolate. But
What kind of chocolate?
Is it certified?
Tell me if it's made of breast milk right fucking now, okay?
Okay, at most 20%.
Yeah, that's good. I can deal with it. All right,
yeah.
That's fine.
Anyway, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on Quadrilateral Cowboy. I saw it and I thought it was really interesting, and so
I played it.
yeah.
I did work. I did work today. No, so Quadrilateral Cowboy is interesting. If no one's played any of the Blendo game stuff, 30 Flights of Loving, Gravity Bone. Gravity Bone is free on Windows, and then 30 Flights of Loving is pretty cheap on Steam, on PC and Mac. But so Quadrilateral Cowboy is... When I talked to Brendan, the guy who's designed those games, when he's played like Deus Ex or Bioshock, if you're like him or you're like me, you always end up skilling as a hacker, but hacking is always reduced to like a shitty mini game, which like isn't all that cool, except like when you're controlling like cameras and stuff like that. So he wanted to try and bridge the gap between like actually hacking, shitty video game hacking, and like something in between. And so Quadrilateral Cowboy is a lot of that. Like you're kind of like, you're going into this command prompt that looks a lot like DOS, but you're not really programming, but you feel like a fucking programmer when you're playing it. Like, it was like you'll go into an environment, it's first person, and like the objective is steal these documents. And so you'll see these documents and you'll see there's laser 7, laser 8, and door 4 in front of you. And then you scroll through your inventory, you throw down your DOS prompt, I forget what it's called in the game, and then all you have is a DOS prompt. And you can look around you to reference what's in front of you, and then you have to type in like alarm4.off, semicolon, alarm 3.off, semicolon, wait, parentheses, 2 seconds, but you just put a 2, close
like a fucking thrill ride.
You lost me, man.
But here's the thing, I've never programmed in my life. Like, I am terrible at math, but I played this game, and on the PAX floor, within 5 minutes, felt like a fucking whiz. And what this game does is bridges that gap in this really elegant, amazing way, where all of a sudden you're stringing together like 4 different commands, and that whole room does exactly what you want to do. Yeah. And that's the amazing part about that game is Brendan finding a way to bridge that gap where he's making something really complicated, really simple, but then all of a sudden at the end of it, I want to go buy a book on programming, but I'm not gonna, because that would suck, and I would be bad at it. But to leave you with that feeling is really amazing. And so, it's just on the show floor. Like, the line was like 2 people long, and the demo is like 5 minutes. So if you haven't played it, go play Quadrilateral Cowboy.
Yeah.
Where's Ian? There he is.
He totally left.
Engineer Ian, it's for Giant Bomb. It's that easy, isn't it? Totally, I knew it.
It's just a lot of semicolons.
Yeah.
Then why does our website keep crashing?
Because he keeps typing website off, colons 2, website off, 2 seconds.
Stop doing that!
Duh.
Also, I'd really like to say something about this chocolate that he brought here for a second. This is chocolate Mexicano, handmade in Somerville, Massachusetts. Stone ground Mexican-style chocolate from Somerville, Massachusetts.
A name you can trust.
I believe it's Somerville.
At the Taza Chocolate Factory in Somerville, Mass., we craft stone ground chocolate, earthy, gritty, and packed with intense cacao flavor. Inspired
Hang
by
on a
our
sec,
passion for
Talk slower.
Okay. Inspired by
go
our
on.
passion for Mexican tradition, we hand carve granite millstones to make
Bring the band
rustic,
back out.
organic dark chocolate bursting with bright tastes and bold textures. Snap off a wedge of Taza chocolate Mexicano and taste chocolate with true grit.
Hey, Ryan, you want to drink some more
Do
breast
you
milk?
even have Mexicans in Somerville? Like, what are you doing? I bet this is actually pretty great. Thank you for that.
That's certified.
Who the fuck is even next? I don't know what we're doing.
I think Quadrilateral Cowboy looks really awesome. I'm excited to play it. I'm glad that it's here. I watched it for a little while at the previous PAX, but didn't get a chance to play it. And yeah, I think just conceptually that's just fucking rad. So I really want to play that.
Way to take it back to a good place, Jeff. All right, who's next? Somerville.
Yeah, hi. I figured with a few months after this whole THQ sort of situation going down, and now that we have PAX East coming through, showing us some good games, showing us what's happening with all the, remnants of that transition. Any things you're happy with in terms of what happened in THQ? Anything you're really depressed that happened?
I think some of it's still shaken out. Like, this is not a done thing. There are still a lot of properties that either ownership has not been, they have not sold off all of the properties, or announcements about what is going to happen with those haven't been made. So it's still pretty early. I personally fucking totally stoked that Saints Row 4 is moving forward, and it seems like Deep Silver's given them the whatever they need to make that happen. But
like they don't own the people at Volition can't make a Red Faction game because they don't own that IP anymore. So when you have
Hasn't been sold yet.
It hasn't been sold yet. So
That's in May.
they could end up with it if they're interested in bidding. But who knows where that'll end up? And it's weird. When we were talking to those guys this afternoon, same thing. We were talking about Ultor, the corporation, showing up in both games, and how that's maybe kind of weird. And Ultor, it sounds like, is still involved in Saints Row 4 to some extent. But it's just kind of strange because, what if Red Faction ends up somewhere else? Do they then still get to use the Ultor Corporation, or what does that even mean? And does that actually matter? Probably not. But it's going to be interesting to see where the rest of that stuff ends up, because THQ has like a lot of other, like free space and stuff like that, right? There's all kinds of other stuff that has to get distributed.
Some free space fans out there.
Yeah, free space.
Or auctions.
Auction fans.
Auction
eBay.
fans.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, guys.
I don't know what's going on over there anymore.
Buy it now, bitch! What?
A++.
I'll do that. So real quick, before I ask my question, I was wondering if Drew figured out, or if he tried to figure out how to control the camera with track IR at all, so that...
It's gonna be a job.
All right, but real quick, on a recent TNT, you guys had the Twitch guy on?
Yes, Jared.
Yes, Jared. And that's when there was a big info dump about VGCW on your guys' site and whatnot.
Mhm.
And you seemed non-committal when they asked if you'd want to be on the roster.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was pitched that you guys could be prominent tag team time trotters. Would you be more interested?
I feel like reticence for that is just, you don't want to just say yes to everything. I had literally just heard of, that thing, minutes earlier when someone said, "Hey, you could be in it." It's like, okay, maybe. Find out if it's cool first. So
So I just it's a creative endeavor ultimately. Like I don't want to like influence it one way or the other. If Boz looks at it and goes, oh, this is the way that I want to go with that, then he should. If not, then no. Like when I was talking about earlier, like if I was writing that thing, I would take all the real life characters out completely, or have them form like a heel stable and whatever battle their way out and have them eventually lose some sort of loser leaves town match. But knowing their luck, they would win it, and then all the video game characters would be gone, and it'd be this whole fucking mess. So
you've thought about this?
Yeah. No.
You spend a lot of time thinking about this, didn't you?
I was sick for a couple of days, and that's when I watched all of them. Ugh. It was a long day. Yeah. A couple of days. So it's like I would personally be fine with it one way or the other. I don't want to necessarily have a real influence over it because I don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah, like if it happens, that's fine. But I don't think none of us have any interest in like campaigning for it or anything. So let it be.
And I guess next time people hassle you for another endurance run, just use the fact that Vinny is going through the ultimate endurance run. First time father, man. Just take the camera home. Go to that next level.
Right, the UED.
Daily videos.
The problem is we can't film his baby all the time.
Why not?
I mean, do you want that?
It's got to start making some income
we could
sometime.
we could use another cameraman.
Yeah.
That's the way to get it.
Well, I do have all those tapes. We should talk later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, next question.
Hi. So last year I was the guy who asked the real dumb question about you guys can do more endurance runs, and everyone booed me.
So next question.
So yeah, actually this time I'm actually kind of curious for like people who are, because I'm gonna be graduating from college here soon, and I've actually been real interested in getting into like gaming journalism and whatnot. And I know Patrick, you're the youngest on the group and whatnot. And you guys have all been around forever. I was just kind of curious, like, what?
Was that a commentary on my beer?
You really don't want us to answer your questions ever, do you?
We were going to announce an endurance run, and you fucked it up, man. We had to delete
Good
those
job
files.
not getting booed this year.
I guess I'm just like wondering, like, what kind of advice would you have for people who want to get into games journalism and
James journalism is way more lucrative if you can get into it.
I specialize in James Taylor.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I mean, the tough part these days is that a lot of more people can get involved. It's not that it was easy when I was getting into it. When I was 14 when I went to my first E3 98, in Atlanta, where they announced Metal Gear Solid in the U.S. for the first time. The problem these days is that a lot more people can be involved. The good part about these days is that quality sort of rises to the top if you have a voice. And the best way to find your voice is to write about what you know. So the worst mistake you could make is like, I just want to be a game reviewer, because anybody can do that. But if
and there are tons of people out there that have done that professionally that no longer have a job.
Yeah.
It's a tightening business in a lot of ways right now. So there's a lot of competition for those jobs when they do open up, and there are already tons of people out there that are super experienced that like as someone who has been a hiring manager, like it's a lot easier for me if I can just go like, I know this person knows what they're doing, I can just fucking plug them right in and not have to worry about training someone from the ground up. And that, yeah, like he was saying, like the more specializations you have, the more you can offer, the better.
Like esports is like a good, nobody knows how to write about esports.
No, yeah, nobody plays League. Nobody plays League in this line of work.
Yeah,
straight up.
So if you can be the guy that can bridge, there are people that what happens in our line of work is we look at people that are good at playing League of Legends or are good at commentating. Like, how can we bring them over to bridge that gap between what we do and what they do? So if you can start from the other side, whether it's League of Legends or JRPGs or whatever it is that you really like, or you can identify with where you see the puck is going in terms of coverage or what people are interested in, that's going to be the best way to get hired. But just being really a generic, I want to write about video games, there's a million guys out there. But if you can say, I do this and I do it really well, that's a lot easier to hire you.
Also, it doesn't hurt if you're good on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, little microphone
and
control.
or can edit video and all that other stuff.
And you're really handsome, and you smell nice.
Also, you have to know people.
I like to believe I can do a lot of those things. All right, thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you. Next question.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Wait, what was that?
A smattering of applause.
Yeah, good,
All right.
good smelling people.
Yeah.
He finally asked a good question.
Well,
Also, he believed in himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question that has bothered me for months. It's driven me mad and driven me to the streets.
Word.
Brad, why was Mass Effect 3 your game of the year?
Man, we really have to talk about that.
Yeah, that is a damn good question.
I know. No,
It's another long line of bad picks.
Neither the time nor the place. I don't know. I feel like I made a pretty firm case for it in the video that went up, but I had a very different experience with that game than pretty much everybody else at this table. And however improper the path that I took to get there, even though it took a lot of paid content to make that game what I wanted it to be, like that was how I experienced it. So that's that's a very personal list. So don't take that as some kind of like objective appraisal of the game's quality.
Yeah, I have a question. What do you think Brad's game of the year should have been?
I mean, you clearly know better.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I was kind of thinking Dishonored.
All right, that's also wrong. So.
Man, this fucking panel. Hold my own Dishonored panel later.
It's best games.
This
Best
panel's already been dishonored well enough.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Gentlemen, like some of you, I don't throw away any of my old games. Today I brought Hooters Road Trip. Will you please sign it for me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some guy, as soon as we got to our hotel, gave us a copy of the Tingle DS game.
That's probably good. I remember this is not a good game.
Well, the PlayStation version isn't.
Let's take another question while we're signing up here.
Hey, I have cannolis. No
Yeah,
milk,
bring 'em on
no
up.
breast milk?
Yep.
Okay. Great question.
Bring them. We will sign the cannolis.
Yeah,
Great
all right.
question.
Let's
Get 'em up here.
Let's take another question while we're signing cannolis.
Do you actually have a question?
There's something I was thinking about the ambassador program, because I never really had a lot of those GBA games or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, like, where did those 10 and 10 games come from? Like, do you think that there was some kind of plan or some kind of like strategy that they were going to roll that out for something, or that they just kind of rushed to get those forward? Because it seems like when Nintendo does like virtual console stuff, they're very slow and methodical, and they'll eventually get to it. But they were like really snappy about that, but then have kind of let it like.
Does this like keep you up at night?
It was probably stuff that as part of getting that stuff working on the platform at all, they probably had to test it out and used some pretty basic. Like if you look at that list of games, they're all pretty early 8-bit Nintendo games that probably aren't complicated, no MMC3, whatever mappers and all that other shit. So they were probably relatively easy to get going, and they were missing features that the Virtual Console full releases later had. So it probably was something that they needed to test out some other stuff, and they're just like, we could just throw this together into some kind of usable state. The games are done. It's not like you have to recode Super Mario Brothers.
But also the like GBA titles and the.
If I had to guess, which I have to, but none of us have any specific insight into this, maybe it has something to do with cross-region availability or familiarity.
That's a good guess.
Any other guesses?
Yeah.
Any other
No,
guesses?
that's good. I thought that,
Maybe it's Miyamoto's favorite game.
Maybe it's shut up and bring this cannoli up here. Come on.
Yeah, seriously.
Leave the question.
You with the backpack, did you bring cannolis?
Thank you, sir.
What's in the backpack?
I didn't bring
These are
any sort
fantastic.
of
Thank you.
delectables for you guys. However, I do have a little bit more of a sincere and genuine and kind of, I don't want to say emotional question, but like a little bit less
You and me,
sarcastic.
man.
Could it have more setup?
What's in the
No,
backpack?
No, you can't.
It's really what these questions have been missing.
Anyway, so earlier this month, Jeff wrote the article where he took on wrestling, and kind of later on in it, he talks about how he saw a game that like got him really excited, and like he's like, it's really cool to see things early and like to get excited about things, and how a lot of people in your guys' business love to be sarcastic and love to be just
assholes.
Not act like they're excited about anything.
Just say it, assholes.
Yeah, pretty much. They like to be assholes. And I was just wondering, do each of you have like kind of a recent memory, since you all like to be assholes, or something recent that really got you excited, that like you just remember seeing it really pumping you up?
Point of order, I don't like to be an asshole. I have to be an asshole.
It's in his contract with CBS.
Yeah.
It's the...
And no.
That game was Transistor, by the way.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing because it's a weird thing to talk about because it just sounds like I get to see this stuff before you guys, which is sort of a dickish thing, but it's also fucking awesome. You know, it's like when Patrick's talking about, like, yeah, he was the first E3 where they unveiled Metal Gear Solid and stuff. Like, it's easy to get jaded about that stuff, but at the same time, it's like there can be a certain amount of like privilege, and you feel kind of honored to be there when this crazy stuff happened. Like going to see the PlayStation 4 unveiling. Like, you know, they live streamed it. There was no terrific, like I didn't necessarily need to go, but I had to fucking go. I needed to see that thing. I needed to see what they were going to do in person and be there. So it's exciting to do that sort of stuff.
I think for me, one of the things I've tried to do recently, like playing like, really a stereotype?
No, these are good cannolis.
Okay.
It's honest to goodness.
Playing games like Fire Emblem, playing games like recently trying to get into Monster Hunter, what I've tried to break out of is like, it's really easy to fall into this trap of like playing the same games that you have liked for like when you got into games, and then getting really disenchanted with how they're fucking them up. When there's all sorts of other games out there. But like the hard part of that is that you have to relearn or learn entirely new systems and ways of approaching games. And like what's been really exciting, like with Monster Hunter, is like, you know, putting 8 hours and being really frustrated, but then that 8 to 10, like just being really fucking psyched. And it's like, oh, I get it. Like, and this, I never would have played a game like this. And I think you kind of, you know, you got to press yourself to do stuff like that, because it is way easier to just keep playing every first-person shooter if that's your genre, or every strategy game if that's your genre. But there's all sorts of other games out there. And the nice part, like as we were talking about earlier, is that people are making games on a very personal level to small audiences. Like those games are out there, but you can't wait for publishers to put them in front of your face. Like you got to go out there, find those people, find those games, and they're out there because they're making them for you and for small audiences. And you just got to support that stuff and kind of, you know, pay with your dollars.
I remember I saw sometimes you go to these events and there's ideal situations, right? The developers show you the ideal situation, the broadcaster game, they have a great sound system or projector. So that being said, when I think Brad and I went to the BF3 reveal, right? That was pretty amazing. I felt like I had seen something special there. And, you know, it was a great demo. It looked fantastic, and I thought I had seen like the future of games, and that's still one of the most memorable demos I had seen. I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm Vinny Carabello. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Vinny. That's exactly what I was asking for. So.
Were those thumbs up or middle fingers? I can't tell from here.
They were thumbs.
All right. Okay. Terrific.
So Patrick already made my transition for me. Your recent vision quest with games. Have you ever run into a game you just couldn't?
Well, when I played Etrian Odyssey 4, like I put in 6 hours of that, and I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's a dungeon crawler. Like I got it. I saw why people get into it, but it's not for me. Like it didn't speak to me. I didn't enjoy its mechanics. I didn't have the time to put into it. But I've found it really enjoyable to play games long enough to at least say why I dislike them, rather than just like outright dismissing them. But that takes a time investment that we don't always have for all those games. I've just kind of like made it a thing for me personally recently, where it's like a lot of the games that would kind of come in and just kind of get shuffled to the side. It's like, I'm gonna give that a shot. I might not like it. I might not necessarily show in the best light, but I'm at least gonna know at the end of the day, this is why I like it or I don't like it, and then move on to the next one in the pile.
So I've cut out the middleman in that process, and I just go like, yep, nope, and then leave it sitting on my desk.
So I just go over to Jeff's desk and just pull games off of his.
It's like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, huh? All right.
Patrick file.
Thank you.
Now, Jeff, this question is for you. But this is also for everyone else.
Wait, what?
I love everyone. But you came to me at a time when I worked at THQ, and I felt like publications and the relationship between developers and reporters was so perverted that when you actually took a stand with Ken and Lynch, I really admired you for that. But now that we're going into more indie-focused games or like smaller development crews, do you think that that perversion still exists? Are you happy that we're going in that direction, or do you think it'll always persist?
I think that the way that advertising is changing and that sort of stuff. I mean, like that whole thing had to do with ad money. At the end of the day, and it wasn't. I did my job and got fired for it. It was less. It wasn't like when I wrote that review, I did not take a stand and say, "Fuck you, I'm doing this anyway. Fuck you, fire me." It was, I'm doing my job, and then, oh, by the way, get out, which was ridiculous. It's weird to be able to say that in front of a room full of people. Long time, lawyers, and all sorts of other stuff. I think that a lot of that stuff has changed because of the way that the industry has changed, and I think that it's changed in maybe some ways that could resurface and be a little strange down the line, because as money tightens up, I mean, for as much as money's tightened up around the business, I mean, THQ's like a pretty clear example of that sort of stuff. There's so much more riding on every single release for major companies that now it's about like, well, we're not going to send Giant Bomb this game because their scoring system is not compatible with Metacritic. Or in the way that we need it to be, because we only have one score that goes above 85. So if they've got some sort of weird thing where they need this game to score above 85 because they have an ice cream party or whatever it is, then which that's how it works, right?
Or stay in business. More or less.
Yeah. Then they're just not going to send us that game sometimes if they're not confident that we're going to give it 5 stars. And it's weird because in some ways, everything we do would be easier if we just stood up and said, we're not going to review games anymore. If we got out of the review end of it, it would, because let's face it, what we do, it puts us in a really awkward position. And people call us out, kind of rightfully so, because we do talk to some developers more often than others. It's like we're talking to Harmonix fairly regularly. Double Fine's up the street, and they're not busy, so sure they'll come by and do this sort of thing.
Or at least Brad Muir isn't.
Yeah, at least Brad Muir. What's that guy even do? I don't even know.
He smiles.
It's just beautiful.
What a smile.
So it's striking that balance of that content. I think is really fun. No one else is doing anything like that. I don't think anyone else is capable of doing stuff like that. So I want to keep doing it. I want to find more ways to expose developers as people and talk, more personally about them and the process of them making games, whether it's a 3-man team or a 300-man team. I think those stories still exist. I think that stuff's super interesting. But the closer we get to that, then it ends up in this other situation of, well, you're reviewing games, so why are you on video crotch rubbing John Drake and all this other stuff? And it's
because it's fun.
It's because it's fun. And we have to try and do both. We have to try to do that sort of stuff and kind of push that end forward, because I think that's what interests us, and I think that's what differentiates us from everyone else out there. But also, I think that there's still some expectation. People want to know at the end of the day, whether it's via a quick look or review or podcast, people want to know, is this game any good, yes or no? And the review is the kind of end-all, be-all way that lets us do that. And the review also gives us kind of that final thing of just well, we're on Metacritic, so you should send us this fucking game. Which is sort of the weird way that this has evolved, is that the sites that are on Metacritic get paid more attention than the others. And you need to review games to be on Metacritic. So I don't have a problem with the way our scores actually show up on Metacritic. I think that the 5-star system, it's the red, yellow, green, happy color system that they have, works out pretty well. But that thing gets perverted and used for all sorts of really fucked up shit, and it's pretty unfortunate. But we'll keep doing it.
Thank you very much for your time. All right, so we're at PAX East, Boston.
Whoa.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for your question.
So we're at PAX East, Boston, Friday, all having a pretty good time. Unfortunately, tomorrow you find out that it's your last day on Earth. What do you do?
I have to go to the bathroom.
They probably leave Boston. First order of business. I think actually that's the $200 in my pocket. That's leaving this room and then just however far away from Boston that gets me.
Yeah.
Because this is a bad place. It's not safe here anymore.
No, it's not. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'd, hang out. Do some stuff, see some people.
I mean, did you want to like
I'm
hang
gonna
out
go
or
shoot
something?
a
What are you
cop.
doing?
Is that the answer you're
Yeah,
looking
it's
for?
like, well, I'm
what?
gonna strap myself with it. Like we're gonna rap that whole song with Mace and DMX, that whole 24 hours to live thing.
I wasn't going to suggest something, but if I may, maybe this would be a time to plug in what you guys are doing tomorrow night.
We got the Cards Against Humanity panel happening tomorrow night.
Yeah.
All right.
And you should come see that.
Okay.
It's a really great way to
spend your
end
final
your
moments
life.
on Earth with us. At
Unless
Cards
you know
Against
something
Humanity.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Like, it was just,
Like, are you plotting?
what are you doing downtown on Saturday? It's gonna be.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
smoggy.
What the fuck are you up to?
What's your game, man?
Is this a threat?
You're like, hey man, it's Boston, it's Friday, what's gonna happen, bruh? We're gonna roll fat blunts. If I had 24 hours to live, just think, what would you do? Where would you go? Who would you screw? And who would you want to notify? Or would your ass deny that your ass about to die? The DMX verse is the best in that one.
That's all I wanted to hear. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
You gave him a gift that he didn't even know he wanted.
Yeah, that's how I always do it.
Wait, that was your breast milk?
Yeah, breast milk.
All right, you guys almost sold me on the John Drake flight tracker, but what can you tell me about the multiplayer?
We're not talking about that right now. But,
Always online.
Yeah, we've got a server infrastructure we're very excited about. Look, our design requires it to be online, people.
Tracking John Drake's travel is very CPU intensive, so we're offloading a lot of that work to our servers. You're welcome. Doing you fuckers a favor. Thank you would be nice.
It's a great product. People are loving it.
The internet's abuzz with it, okay?
Hello, patient
Millions
mayors.
of people are loving this app.
Wait, what was the question?
I don't even know.
I don't know. Next question.
So when you guys first did the quick look for Demon Souls, it seemed like nobody was really too sure about the game. Didn't really like it. But now, after Dark Souls came out, it seems like the whole team kind of loves the series. And in the recent announcements for Dark Souls 2...
Are you
Oh yeah, we fucking love that shit.
Panel?
Yeah.
Giant Bomb panel, right? Keep going.
You talk about it a lot, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Sure.
Fair enough.
And with the recent announcement of Dark Souls 2, they're announcing it like, we're going to try and make it more mainstream. Not really, maybe not the best wording, but there's rumors
Esports. That's what they're doing.
There's rumors about like an easy mode, maybe not always having to be online all the time playing it, and just things like that. I was wondering what your opinion on that was.
I think Demon Souls and Dark Souls are really rad games, and if there's anything in there to make them more accessible to people, if people are afraid to get in them, I mean they have a reputation for being hard. They're not really that hard, and if there's a way to get more people into them to check them out, I'm all for it. Come on, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
You gonna stick by that?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, they're really not.
It's the same with Monster Hunter, though. Like, that's what I discovered over my 10 hours. Like, it's not that they're that hard, they're just different. And that difference takes a long time to sort of become acclimated to. Like, they're
Sure.
difficult. They're not easy games, but the, like, sort of like narrative, they're like, oh, these games are impossible. Like, I don't think that's true.
Like, I beat Demon Souls, and I'm fucking terrible at games. I beat that game. So if anybody else has beat Demon Souls and you want to like step with me, you're stepping with a terrible game player. So it's not that hard.
Jeff, is easy like code for fun? Is that what they're adding to?
No.
No. Okay.
No, it's like I don't like prog rock.
What if I put an easy mode?
I don't
in?
like Monster Hunter or Demon Souls or Dark Souls. It's just how it worked out, you know. I didn't have to go and listen to every single piece of prog rock out there to tell you it's just not for me. Much like I don't necessarily need to finish all of those games to tell you I'm just not interested in continuing to play them. And it's the beautiful thing about not reviewing every game that comes out is that I don't have to play every single game that comes out. I reviewed a soccer game once. I don't even know the fucking rules to soccer.
But it was like an 8.5.
Yeah, it was like Adidas Power Soccer for the PlayStation 1.
I reviewed a Monster Hunter game.
Wait, really?
Yeah, several actually. Like on the PS2.
What the fuck did you say in them?
That was like a decade ago.
Game reviews were different then.
So Jeff, does this mean I can stop reviewing terrible games?
No, because you literally have nothing else to offer.
Yeah. That's pretty much true.
All right, what's going on, Vest? I like that he looked down to make sure.
Is he talking to me? Oh.
You've got a watch chain. You clearly thought this out. Don't pretend like you just stumbled into that fucking vest, all right?
Second John Drake related question.
Yes.
Oculus Rift.
John Drake does not support the Oculus Rift.
No.
John Drake
really
is a
want
purely
it to be honest with you.
We will speak with the Statsdale group. You know, this is programmed in Unity, and they are planning to release a plugin for Unity that will get Oculus Rift up and running in it. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to use those plugins to offer you the latest and most fantastic VR features in the world. It's going to make Lawnmower Man 2 look like Lawnmower Man 1.
Thank you very much.
VRML.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's right.
Just out of curiosity, how many people here were actually alive when the Lawnmower Man came out? So that's like half
Not
of
me.
you.
I died as I was watching it. This is all a ghostly dream.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vest.
I think we're going to have to... We'll take...
We only have a
I think
few
we're going to
more.
have to look at this laptop. Ask question, go.
One more question. Let's go.
Okay, so the soccer thing you brought up is something I'm interested in. Are there any plans to ever have non-American reviewers at Giant Bomb?
Absolutely not.
Excellent. Okay.
But curiously, on that subject of non-American things, Drew and I, at the end of April, are going to EVE Online Fan Fest in Iceland.
Excellent.
Dude, that's going to be nuts.
Well, none of us know what EVE Online is. But they offer, they're like, there's a Dustmon 514 game. Do you want to go cover it? Sure. So we're gonna go to the party at the top of the world. That's what it's called. So Drew and I are gonna go to Iceland for like 6 days at the end of April, and there'll be some stuff on the site.
And to be clear, it's not that we are specifically not looking for non-American staffers or writers. It's just that we don't plan ahead at all.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a time when you saw websites expanding to have like international teams and that sort of stuff. But I think that's primarily from a news perspective, or that's where it's primarily meaningful. We're not really looking to review games that only come out in specific territories, which is the thing you gain by having people in those territories. But like, just about everything comes out just about everywhere, or at least it comes out here. And we're not looking to review Australian rules football games.
Yeah,
which is
so-
like one of the few things that doesn't make it to this country at this point. So it's
Unfortunately so.
Yeah.
I see it more as like a cultural kind of thing because obviously, I guess a lot of people here are probably American, but there's at least.
That's a safe guess.
I don't like to self-identify. Comrade,
man without a country.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could almost there's a lot of different roads we could go down. What if we turned Giant Bomb into a franchise and had Giant Bomb Australia, and it was 4 guys out there that, they did their own endurance run and all that other stuff and all that. That's expensive, so no. But you could imagine a world in which that's possible.
However, we will be selling Giant Bomb franchising rights pretty soon here. So if you want to buy a Giant Bomb franchise, see Jeff after the show.
That's right.
All right, thanks.
I think it'd be cool, but that's just not.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Why
why
not?
not?
Fuck
So-
it.
You guys aren't leaving, so we'll keep taking the questions.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get my Kickstarter off the ground.
All right, next question.
Next question, please.
Wait. This is for you, Ryan. It's called Certified Breast Secretions. And I'm wondering what the cost will be to get the name and likeness rights for our seal of approval. From you, Ryan Davis.
I will talk after the panel. See, it was a reference to this from earlier.
Yeah.
Remember when I drank a stranger's breast milk up here?
Nope.
You all shared that moment. You were here for that.
Yeah, shared.
Never tell anyone you saw that.
You can't forget it.
It's already on Twitter.
You can't run away from that fact. That's there. That's inside you now. Much like that breast milk is inside of me.
I want to be there when it leaves you. I feel I'm owed that.
We are sharing a room, so I think the chances are high. I think the chances are high. Next question?
Hi, I'd like to preface this by saying you guys are freaking awesome, and
thank you.
Love everything.
How did it take this far into the night for someone to say that? Jesus. Thank you, sir.
Finally, some affirmation that things are going
Yeah.
okay. I'm like up here, this is a real shit show this year. Fuck.
There's not a lot of liars in the audience tonight.
Yeah.
My question is, as game journalism is moving toward a more personal standpoint, like you're starting to feel kind of like just plain news journalism where that list of personal contacts is really handy. Like the amount of like the Harmonix guys, the Supergiant guys that you guys used to work, the head I think used to work at GameSpot with you guys. And knowing all those people is becoming more and more important. And you've got all the personalized content on the site, like Alex and Patrick with their own columns each, the Bradley Must Die stuff, Jar Time. Do you see that going forward with the whole industry for game journalism, or just you guys? So I'm seeing it at other sites as well. Like the reviews are on the back end; they're just kind of an affirmation for your opinions. How do you guys see your own content moving forward as you get more and more personal with the industry?
I don't know, it's for a while I thought it'd be really funny to do like, interviews in bed or something like that. Just go all the way with it. But I think someone was doing that. There was that Dennis Dyack interview with was that Penthouse?
I think Penthouse was doing that.
That's a real thing.
That
wasn't a joke.
That is literally that.
You can look that
happens.
up.
That's on the
Don't.
internet. That's on the internet.
Just go Google Dennis Dyack in bed.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Yeah, turn safe search off.
Yeah.
I think what we've learned through all of this is that the personal context is huge and makes a big difference. And if you know more of who we are, then the value of the opinion about the game or whatever is higher. And that's not some crazy secret. Other people know this as well. It's just a matter of being able to execute on that.
Yeah, if you want to go see Gears of War footage, you can just type that into YouTube and find anything you want. The proliferation of capture equipment and being able to put video online, it's not hard, right? There's only really one place you're going to find, Ryan or Jeff kind of fucking around talking about Gears of War, and that's on Giant Bomb. And we've tried to capitalize on that by putting personality into kind of every piece of content we do to make sure that it can't be repeated. You cannot find that anywhere else but on Giant Bomb, and that's been very important, I think, even since day one, really.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you can see the industry kind of moving further and further away from like working with the press on like preview coverage is broken and dying. The way that it used to exist just straight up doesn't work anymore. No one reads it, and so why would we write it? So you end up with more and more companies. Like Blizzard was a great early example of this. When Blizzard wants to announce a game, they don't go to Keighley and say, "Hey, let's put this on TV." They put it up on their fucking website and go, "Here you go." Because they don't need the cover of Game Informer, they don't need the top slot on IGN, they don't need GameSpot, for that sort of thing. And more publishers are starting to pick that up. So when it comes to, like it used to be like, here's 10 new screenshots. We still get a fair amount of that stuff, but here's 10 new screenshots and a trailer. That's happening less and less. And the crazy thing is like now, some companies, Activision, EA, a few others, when they send us trailers, it's not here, download the trailer and put it up on your website. It's here's the embed code for YouTube. Because they're trying to build their own YouTube presence. They're trying to build their own audience there now and competing directly with the media. So media that is still relying on views of trailers to get by are fucked. Like they're going to have to revisit their entire business model sooner rather than later. So I feel like, we, didn't necessarily come at it from that perspective super hard out of the gate. Like you saw some of that happening, and I tried to react to that as best I could. But it worked out pretty well, because it's just moving further in that direction, and we can continue to be an independent voice, regardless of how that information is disseminated. Like I'm happy to cede that to the publishers, because I don't want to be pimping out like, we got 4 new screens of this fucking game. Like, it's just, who fucking cares? It's just assets. It's just bullshit.
We've got WWE screenshots all month long.
Yeah, well, no, we were taking those.
Yeah.
Like, we were literally, that was the GameSpot traffic. You want to make your page view numbers, you just put up more screenshots of wrestling games. You can go look, it's still on GameSpot. There's like 1,000 screenshots of Ocarina of Time, like N64 wrestling games. There's tons from that whole era of just like, here's wrestler entrance videos and all this other stuff.
Oh, God. We kind of learned that when we did that on Unprofessional Fridays, looked at a dog's life, and then realized there were like 16 gameplay videos of a dog's life on GameSpot.
It was a very different time.
Yeah, to be fair, to be honest and to be fair, when that stuff was going up, there wasn't a lot of video.
Yeah.
And capturing games was really hard. So if you wanted to see video of that stuff in the kind of late 90s and early 2000s, GameSpot was kind of one of the only places
when we started GameSpot, we started Video GameSpot, the console end of it. Like one of our goals was to have one piece of video for every single game, and even that alone in real player was just fucking unheard of. So yeah, I mean that way of life made sense for a very long time, but I think the book is rapidly closing on that. So
yeah, to kind of follow that up, when we were talking about what we're going to do at Giant Bomb, when we were kind of getting together, I think we decided we were not going to put up one gameplay clip without some kind of editorial on it.
Right.
Like we're not just
like trailers. That was okay, but we're not like
3 gameplay clips.
Yeah, here's 60 seconds of Hot Shots Golf. Like no.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to preface this with the Giant Bomb data just makes me tingly. So it's so good, and I love it. Can't get enough. Always want more.
Gross, dude.
You're like shimmying around in a way that proves
there are like
your
all
point.
sorts of words you could have picked.
Yeah.
Well,
No, dude, I get it. Yeah.
What's the question?
Anyway, so I've started on my own path. I've made a web app to kind of sort everything by genre, so I get news about the things that I'm interested in. And now I'm trying to, how do I approach you guys in a business way? And this is for everyone that's in this business aspect that wants to do, really good stuff with you guys. How do I approach that?
Don't tell us our data is tingly.
I mean, get on our board. Like if you're using our API to do cool stuff, I'd just get on the message boards and tell other users about it and get them using it. Like that's usually how it is. We don't. Something like that where we're, engineering openings and that sort of stuff. Like we're looking for a designer right now, but not necessarily. Well, whatever. There's some engineering openings right now, aren't there? No, they just filled them. Just now.
Out of luck.
So.
It was actually the guy just in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
He said the data was good, not tingly. So
he.
Ian, is there new API documentation up on the site for everything?
That's a great question.
I have a question for
Ian.
There probably should be, like, you know, there will be, right? Ian says he thinks there's a page.
It's pretty similar to the existing API. Like
Right.
some of the IDs and stuff changed, but it's meant to duplicate. Anyway.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Last man standing on the right. What's up?
Hi there. Longtime fan.
Get up on that microphone.
Thanks.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I've just been watching this, this Kojima being crazy with the, Joachim Mogren thing. And that was on game trailers recently, and that kind of blew up into that whole, is it CG or is it real thing, It got me thinking, did they ever approach you, did any of these developers ever approach you about doing this viral stuff? And, what are your thoughts on that? What do you respond to that with?
No, I don't think we've ever been approached for something like that. I mean, when it comes to that type of big kind of exclusive thing, they're just looking for raw eyeballs on it. And when it comes to that, and they're looking for eyeballs that are not necessarily already online getting that information. So the two places for that are literally the cover of Game Informer and Game Trailers TV. So they're the two outlets that are basically divvying up all the super high top level exclusives, and then below that you've got your IGNs and your GameSpots that are getting like they're getting some exclusive reveals. They're getting like, hey, here's the new character for this, here's the new thing for this. But they're kind of preaching to the choir to some extent. And then we're even further down that hole where the people that read our site probably absorb a whole lot of game information. If it's not from us, it's from our message boards. If not from our message boards, it's from somewhere else. So I would actually recommend they don't go with us for something like that because it just that might not be great business. Also, it would just be kind of weird. I don't know. That whole thing is just fucking weird.
Right, totally orchestrated. And
Yeah, it's but at the same time, like it looks really interesting. It looks kind of fun. So I can't sit here and say that I definitely wouldn't do it if asked. I would at least entertain the possibility. But it's weird.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we got two more here.
Bang these last two out. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Okay, so specifically for Jeff, I don't know if I heard it from you or from someone else, but after you got fired from GameSpot, I heard that the Penny Arcade guys offered you a job or a position. Is that correct? First, why did you turn it down? First, why did you choose not to go with that? And second, more generally for all you guys, why did you guys decide Giant Bomb, in its incarnation is what you guys wanted to do?
Well, so after I got fired, I sat around for about a week drinking. And then the Penny Arcade comic hit in some part of that process, and then the internet kind of blew up, and I went from going like, man, this is really fucked up, to, oh, I'm totally going to be able to get a job. And then from there were a few different options. There were a couple of different people that that I'd been talking to, and honestly, by the time Penny Arcade had reached out, I was already deep in with Whiskey Media, like we were building the site. But we were in a real quiet period and didn't want to say anything about that, so I just actually kind of never got back to them, which was maybe a little fucked up. But they've got Ben Kuchera. They're doing their thing. They're out there realizing their editorial goals a different way. So yeah, I mean, I got involved with the whiskey stuff through Ryan, who mentioned to Dave that I was kind of on the market and whatever. And so it was like, was it the Friday after I got fired that everybody came up and we played Rock Band?
Sounds right.
Yeah. So everybody came up. We had kind of a party at my place, and Dave ended up coming along to that, and we started talking like, maybe we can come in, meet with Shelby, do this, and that, and that kind of got it going from there. And the reason that I ended up going with those guys is because I'd worked with all of them before and knew what they were capable of. It was a thing of like, all right, they already were running Comic Vine, they were already doing this wiki, and I was like, oh man, that data just sounds fucking awesome. Like, what if we did this for games? It could be so cool. So that stuff just made sense right off the bat, and they kind of they very quickly became the first place choice, and that's how it all went down.
Last question.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
every year my friends and I come down here from Toronto to Boston for PAX. And every year we find that this is the highlight of our event. When will you guys come to Canada?
Oh man, I'd love to.
I would actually really love to. I love
I'm not allowed
Canada.
out of the country, so.
You know what? It's I would. There's stuff that I would love to do involving tons and tons of travel and going on the road and doing all kinds of crazy shows and all this other stuff and we'll see. I can't commit to anything. Like I don't even think I honestly.
Saying you have a fan base and we're right next door and we want you.
Thank you.
Good to know. No, it's
One last question. If
all right.
that's okay. I'm sorry.
No.
On this, I guess following up on Endurance Run Guy's question, esports. What are you looking for as a writer for esports? What do you want for that? Because there are a lot of people that are into esports, or at least that I find, and they do write, but.
I think that there have been a lot of different approaches. I mean, IGN tried to build their own league and all that other stuff. I think that, GameSpot's focus has been more on covering esports as if someone would cover regular sports, and I think that's been a more interesting approach for that sort of stuff. But I just don't know. It's for me, I'm interested in the personal end of it. Like the players, why do they do it? What did they have to sacrifice to do this? Like when they went to Korea and saw how those guys were living in that house and the way that they were so dedicated to StarCraft and just how crazy that was. Like that's the stuff that interests me. I'm not necessarily going to go like, I'm going to read the latest League of Legends strategies. What's new in Dota 2? Who's overpowered this week? And also on sale. Weird.
So more like sports journalism, but esports. So more like sports journalism, but esports.
You're trying to find the human drama, right? Like the reason sports is interesting, even if you don't care about football, like you might know who a Calvin Johnson is or something like that because it's interesting to watch these people be amazing and do things that you can't do. So like for esports coverage, the key to unlocking other people being interested is not, they don't have to care what League of Legends is. They just have to care about someone's emotional arc of why they would do it. And the key for anyone covering that is trying to find those people and convey why they do it and why that's interesting. Because it doesn't matter if they're playing League of Legends. It just matters like what drives them to spend hundreds of hours. Because it's no different than any other sport or any other thing that someone commits time to. But it's the job of the writer to make that interesting. And so for anyone that's like wants to bridge esports with traditional games coverage, try and find that person or those people or that team and find a way to convey what they're trying to put into it.
Do you follow esports?
Yeah.
Why?
I love it.
What about it? What do you want to read about it?
It's fun. I don't know. I love the games. I love competitions. The people are not always that nice, but it's still fun to get that banter back and forth.
So do you follow coverage of esports, or do you just follow the matches?
Here and there, both. Mostly the matches.
But you probably follow specific broadcasters, right? Like, do you have certain like players that you follow and commentators that you follow?
Commentators, yes. Players, sometimes. I guess Boy.
I feel like this is the challenge, though, is that like there's so many like weird, disparate like esports leagues and teams and all this stuff. Like there hasn't been that sort of consolidation of who's managing this stuff, who's putting it out there, and it's like it's really confusing if you don't really want to dedicate it to yourself. Like there's no way to casually follow esports.
And that's the larger thing is that like esports is a subsection of video games. Like you can't just like cover video games and then cover esports on the side. Like you have to be committed to that because it's its own thing with its own nuances. And I think that's the problem from our standpoint is that we can be casually like Dota, but like we can't actually meaningfully say like we're covering Dota because we don't care. Like, but we need, you need to find those people that care. Because if we tried to do it, you guys would call us out on our bullshit. So like we just don't do it.
All right, I'll find you those people and I'll have them apply.
Do you like the name esports?
No.
Okay. What would you call it? 5
V
4.
Sports.
Okay, there you go.
V Sports.
Oh man. All right, let's stick with esports for now.
Yeah.
That was a really good question to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was.
Oh, Andy Bauman has a little inside information. Share with the audience.
So what's this about Game Crib?
I don't know. Andy, why don't you get on the mic and close us out? No, you did it. No, you did it, bro. Get on there.
No, you don't want to plug it. Don't want to plug it?
All right.
Well, we're out of time anyway.
Check
Tell me
out
about
more
Qualcomm,
on Game
Andy.
Crib.
Thank you for the question, and thanks to all of you for joining us here for the Giant Bomb panel.
It was unforgettable.
I think I'd like to thank the PAX East Enforcer crew, the tech crew, for keeping the show going. Drew Scanlon, Andy Bauman, the panel of experts.
You assholes.
Thank you all.
These fucking assholes.
Please stop encouraging us.
We're all changed.